The film starts during Christmas 2004, when a group of fishermen are caught in a storm in the Indian Ocean. Kim Hee, a geologist, warns his boss and the local residents about an incoming tsunami. A rescue helicopter is dispatched to save the fishermen, but the boat's captain gets trapped in a fishing net. He tells his crew to leave him behind to avoid being swept away by the tsunami. Before he dies, he asks Mansik to look after his daughter, which Mansik promises to do. News later reports that the tsunami killed thousands in Southeast Asia. 5 years later, Mansik is still keeping his promise, caring for the captain's daughter, Yeon-hee. Despite her mother's disapproval, Mansik always defends Yeon-hee. He is willing to provide for her, but she prefers to earn her own living. Yeon-hee's uncle, Mansik, is disliked by everyone, including his nephew. He owns several businesses and was responsible for many deaths during the 2004 disaster because he ignored the evacuation notice and sent fishermen out to sea. During an interview about a potential new tsunami, Kim Hee meets his ex-wife, who is visiting the city with her daughter and boyfriend. Ji-min, the daughter of Kim Hee and Eugene, has never been told who her real father is. As a result, Kim Hee cannot approach her, even though he wants to be part of her life. One day, Hee and her friends are invited to a yacht party. She is hesitant, but goes due to peer pressure. While on the yacht, she falls into the water and is rescued by Hyung-sik. Later, Mansik and his friends are dining at Yeon-hee's restaurant when his mother arrives and demands the return of her borrowed dishes. To defuse the situation, Mansik sends his friends to his mother's restaurant and leaves Yeon-hee a generous tip. Unlike Mansik, Dong-chun is a middle-aged man who has never worked and lives off his mother. He frequently eats at Yeon-hee's restaurant without paying. To recoup her losses, Yeon-hee enlists Dong-chun to help her fish. Before they depart, she accepts an invitation from Mansik to attend a baseball game. Mansik, a single father, takes his son, San Ryan, to watch his favorite team. Meanwhile, Yeon-hee and Hyung-sik discuss the day's events at a restaurant. After being rescued by Hyung-sik, Yeon-hee becomes interested in him. When she gets home, she finds a gift from Mansik, several dishes and kitchen utensils. A few days later, Hyung-sik is given a new job, looking after lost children on the beach. Ji-min, who got lost during a walk, asks him to call her mother. Upon hearing the news about her daughter, Eugene contacts Kim Hee and asks him to find the girl because she's busy at work. Shortly after, Eugene goes to pick up her daughter and gets into an argument with a girl who got lost from Rachin on the beach. Kim Hee tries to intervene and stop Eugene from fighting the girl. He also criticizes his ex-wife for leaving Jimin in the care of a man she barely knows. Eugene, angry, tells him to stay out of her daughter's upbringing and leaves, claiming that he was never there to protect her. It's almost 5 years since Jimin's father passed away, and she still deeply misses him. Yeon-hee just started high school and admits that her heart races every time she sees Mansik. Although he feels the same way about her, Mansik refuses to propose because he believes it would betray his captain, who entrusted him with the care of his daughter. Since Jimin doesn't have any living family members, Yeon-hee invites Mansik to accompany her to the cemetery the next day to visit her father's grave. That night, Mansik dreams about a tsunami and remembers that the accident that took the captain's life happened because of him. If he had followed orders, everyone would have survived. When he wakes up the next day, he realizes there's a storm outside, and his son San Ryan is afraid of thunder. Mansik comforts his son by holding him on his lap. On their way back home from a restaurant, Yeon-hee compliments a watch that Mansik wears, and he reveals that he needs it for ocean rescues. Despite having only been on a few dates, Yeon-hee is already falling in love with Mansik and takes a moment to kiss him. Unbeknownst to her, her friends and the guys they met on the beach witness the kiss. Everything seems normal in Hyundai, but unknown to most people, there are frequent earthquakes in the ocean, causing even the crabs to leave the beach. Kim Hee is warned by his staff about the possibility of a larger tsunami than the one that occurred in 2004, so he goes to inform his superior. With over 1 million people in Hyundai at that moment, if the city isn't evacuated, everyone will be in danger. The following morning, as planned, Mansik accompanies Yeon-hee to her father's grave. Yeon-hee expresses gratitude for Mansik's care over the years and wishes to reciprocate. She is frustrated that he hasn't proposed yet and regrets not being able to win his heart. After speaking with her father, Yeon-hee departs, and Mansik kneels before the tomb, seeking forgiveness for what happened, and admitting that he still feels guilty for his captain's death. Despite knowing that Yeon-hee comes from a wealthy family and is about to attend a university in Seoul, Mansik allows himself to fall in love with her, and plans to meet her at a restaurant during his lunch break. Mansik decides to give Yeon-hee his watch as a gift since she admired it earlier. However, on his way there, he is surprised by Hyung-chul and her friends. Hyung-chul, who is mentally unstable, claims that Yeon-hee is his fiancée fiancé and warns Mansik to stay away from her. A few hours later, Mansik finalizes his preparations to propose. He takes Yeon-hee on a boat and waits for the fireworks display to ask her to marry him. Yeon-hee is overjoyed with the proposal, but doesn't immediately accept it. Instead, she requests that Mansik visit her restaurant the next morning to hear her answer. Meanwhile, Yeon-hee goes after Hyung-sik and tells him that she's been waiting for him all day. She asks why he didn't show up at the restaurant, but he ignores her and says he doesn't want to see her anymore. During dinner, Dong-chun's mother informs him about a job interview she arranged for him, but he refuses to go. He makes up an excuse that he doesn't have suitable shoes for the interview, and his mother offers to buy him new ones. After arguing with his mother, he goes to Yeon-hee's restaurant and discovers that she has been proposed to. Dong-chun, who has always been in love with Yeon-hee, becomes jealous upon learning this. In an attempt to make her reject the proposal, he reveals everything about the night of the tsunami, and Yeon-hee realizes that Mansik was responsible for her father's death. The next day, when Mansik goes to visit Yeon-hee, Dong-chun shows up and tells her the truth. This infuriates Mansik, who is generally patient, and he attacks Dong-chun. They engage in a fight, with Dong-chun trying to dodge the blows by running around his van. Suddenly, a pigeon crashes into the windshield of the van and gets stuck there. They notice thousands of birds migrating to the continent and realize that something is wrong. Meanwhile, Kim-hee is convinced that a tsunami is imminent and tries to persuade his boss to evacuate Hyundai. However, his boss refuses and prioritizes the ongoing cultural exhibition in the city. Hoping that her son will start working, Dong-chun's mother cancels a picnic with her friends and goes to a store to buy him a pair of shoes for the job interview. She calls him to ask about his shoe size, but he ignores her and claims to be busy taking his van for repairs. Meanwhile, Mansik's mother takes her grandson for a ride, unaware of what is about to happen. Earthquakes trigger massive landslides, and the authorities are forced to issue an evacuation alert. Eugene, upon hearing the news, tries to reach her daughter, but Jimin is asleep and doesn't answer the phone. Unaware of Hyung-chul's deception, Yeon-hee agrees to go on a ride with him in his speedboat. Meanwhile, her friends are visiting an aquarium with the men they met during their trip. After waiting for Yeon-hee at her house for hours, Mansik finally finds her and asks for a chance to explain himself. However, their conversation is interrupted by an earthquake that shakes the entire area and causes panic among the people. The underground aquarium where Yeon-hee's friends are located collapses due to the tremor, and water floods the place. As Eugene enters the elevator of the hotel where her daughter is staying, the power goes out. Worried about Jimin's safety, Eugene calls her ex-husband and asks him to come and rescue her. A massive wave forms in the ocean and engulfs a whole ship. Hyung-chul contacts the lifeguards for help because his speedboat is no longer functioning. Without delay, a helicopter prepares for a rescue mission, and Hyung-sik is part of the search team. Jimin, upon waking up, sees a large wave approaching from her window and is alarmed. Alone in her room, Kim-hee rushes to save her before it's too late. Realizing the situation, Yeon-hee grabs Mansik and they flee from the beach. Panicked beachgoers flood the town, trampling over each other in their desperate attempt to survive the imminent disaster. In the chaos, a little girl falls in the sand, and her father rushes back to retrieve her. To shield his daughter, he uses his own body and tragically gets trampled. Witnessing the destruction, he flees with the little girl in his arms. Dong-chun and Mansik's mother find themselves on a bridge when the tsunami strikes Hyundai. Acting swiftly, the man holds San Ryan on his lap and pulls the elderly woman to safety. Within minutes, water floods the hotel where Eugene is staying, submerging the elevator. Kim-hee races to reach his daughter in time and discovers her on the verge of drowning. The water currents push Jimin out of the building, but her father manages to catch her just in time. As the wave reaches the city center, it sweeps away people and vehicles. In an attempt to mitigate the impact, Mansik protects Yeon-hee behind a pillar. Hyung-chul and Hee-mi are on the brink of drowning when the rescue team locates them. Meanwhile, Eugene is stuck in an elevator, desperately calling for help as she faces the threat of drowning. Dong-chun, having lost San Ryan and his grandmother, searches frantically on the bridge for them. Unexpectedly, the support cables start to give way, and the containers from the wreckage fall onto the bridge. Everyone around Dong-chun is struck, but he miraculously escapes unharmed. In the city, Mansik and Yeon-hee struggle to avoid drowning and notice a power box on a pole about to fall into the water. If it does, everyone in contact with the electrified water will die. So, the couple tries to climb another pole, striving to stay above the water level. First, Mansik helps the girl up and saves her just seconds before the electricity surges through the water, which would have killed them. While rescuing Hemi from the ocean, Dongchun. Hyung-sik questions whether she is truly engaged to Hyung-chul and discovers that he has been deceived. Hemi claims that she only met him a few days ago. The elevator is nearly submerged when Yoo-jin receives a call from her ex-husband, who informs her that he and Jimin are on the building's roof, and he realizes his wife is trapped in the elevator. Kim-hee passes the phone to his daughter and rushes to rescue Yoo-jin, but is intercepted by the guards. In her final moments, Yoo-jin decides to tell Jimin the truth, revealing that Kim-hee is her father. She bids farewell to her daughter and tragically drowns, but an employee manages to open the elevator door, allowing Yoo-jin to escape. In his despair, Dongchun decides to calm down by lighting a cigarette, but he is startled by the flame and hurls the lighter away. This small act triggers a major disaster as the fire ignites the fuel spilled from the ship, causing a massive explosion. Realizing his grave mistake, Dongchun flees and narrowly escapes, but the wreckage of the boat collides with buildings along the beach. Man-sik manages to climb a building and assists Yeon-hee as she climbs up. However, he is struck by debris and falls. Although Yeon-hee tries to hold him, she knows he will eventually be swept away by the current. In his final moments, Man-sik confesses his love for Yeon-hee and expresses his desire to have married her. Just as he is being carried away, his despised uncle unexpectedly saves him, pulling him back up and helping him cling to the pole. Before Man-sik can thank him, Uncle Joe is hit by a metal box and becomes detached, being swept away by the debris. After exiting the elevator, Yoo-jin rushes to the terrace and embraces her daughter one last time. An even larger wave approaches the shore, and Kim-hee attempts to save Jimin by placing her in a metal basket held by a woman who will be airlifted by a rescue helicopter. The woman assures Kim-hee that she will take good care of Jimin. For the first and last time, Jimin sees her parents together. After bidding farewell to their daughter, the former couple embraces, awaiting their impending demise. Shortly after the disaster, the government dispatched numerous rescue helicopters to save the survivors. A few days later, a memorial service was held to honor those who sacrificed themselves to save the victims of the tsunami. Hyung-sik is among them, and Yeon-hee tearfully holds his watch while locals gather to clean up the beach. Jimin informs San Ryan that she was rescued by her father, but both her parents have passed away. After years of unemployment, Dongchun finally finds a job, but his mother is no longer alive to celebrate his achievement. Yeon-hee decides to forgive Man-sik and accepts his marriage proposal despite their past disagreements. She receives the blessing of Man-sik's mother, who warmly welcomes her into the family. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.